In this short video, I want to discuss the concept of Google Ads optimization score and whether you should be aiming for a 100% optimization score. So if you go into Google Ads, you'll always see them trying to push the optimization score concept. It's pretty prominently displayed all throughout your account. Google's trying to push you to go and check on your optimization score for a given campaign and basically work towards getting that 100% optimization score. You can see here this campaign, for example, has got a 51.9% optimization score, down a whopping 10% week on week. And Google's really trying to gamify you towards getting to that 100% figure. It's a really common thing for clients to sort of come along and say, "Hey, why is my campaign only at 50% or 75% or whatever it is? What have I got to do to get it to 100%?" I've even had scenarios where clients have taken calls from Google Ads support specialists who've basically told them you have to get to 100% or you're wasting a whole lot of money. And they've gone and just implemented everything Google's recommended to actually get that 100% optimization score figure. So just a few sort of harsh truths or myths or whatever you want to call them that I want to cover and dispel in this video. The first is that getting a 100% optimization score does not mean your campaign is necessarily going to be a better performer in terms of generating you more conversions, reducing your cost per conversion, making your campaign more profitable, or anything like that. The only guarantee by chasing 100% optimization score is that Google will benefit the most. Your business might benefit, and sometimes your business might benefit quite a bit, but Google will always benefit more. Now, if this works out for both parties, and implementing the recommendations makes sense for your business, I'll come to that in a minute, and then it works out for you, doesn't really matter if Google benefits as well, does it? As long as everybody's a winner, right? That's the key thing. But if you just go through without any sort of thought or process given to reviewing the recommendations and you just implement them, Google's typically the only 100% guaranteed winner by a business chasing a 100% optimization score. The other thing to consider is that some of the optimization score recommendations are good and some of them are bad. And the key thing, in my view, is that you need to go through and analyze and kind of assess each one uh, by its own merits, and the merits have to relate to your objectives with Google Ads, what you're trying to achieve, what your budget is, and all those kind of things. So take this particular campaign here, for example. The top recommendation in this particular campaign is that I should increase the budget. But let's just say that the budget had to stay at $10 a day. I couldn't increase it because the client has no more money to spend, or I don't have any more money to spend. And even if I could get more conversions, because cash flow is tight, for example, I cannot afford to spend more than $10 a day averaged out across a month. Even though this would increase my optimization score 8.5%, it's not necessarily a good recommendation. It's interesting to know, but it's not necessarily a good recommendation. On the other hand, some suggestions that Google makes, like adding site links to the ad over here, for example, for a 6.8% increase in optimization score, that recommendation actually makes pretty good sense, right? Probably should add site links to this particular campaign because they can improve the click-through rate, as Google rightfully says here, and an improved click-through rate and sort of better quality advertising is generally only a good thing. So what you need to do is actually go through and basically look at the recommendations that Google's making in turn and say, does this make sense for what I'm trying to achieve? And you can filter them by different sort of categories as well. So for example, Google here is saying, hey, you should use display expansion. So this particular recommendation for a 2.4% gain is telling me to use display expansion, which you should never use unless you like wasting your money, because what display expansion does is allows your search ads to potentially run on the display network, which are two conflicting styles of advertising, demand fulfillment with search versus demand creation with display. They don't really mix. They're like oil and water. Putting them into one campaign is not a good approach to take. But if I wanted to get a 100% optimization score for this campaign, I'd have to do this, even though it only serves Google's interests and not mine. If you look at other things here, like search partners, this particular campaign has run on search partners in the past, and it was disabled because it wasn't delivering effective performance. But once again, to get 3.2%, which might contribute to getting that coveted 100% optimization score, I'd have to enable search partners on this campaign, which isn't necessarily the right thing to do. And if I look in the keyword list, I can actually see keywords here in this list, such as the sculpture-related keyword, art sculpture for sale, that aren't relevant to what this particular advertiser is selling, right? It wouldn't actually be a good keyword for the business because they don't sell many sculptures. And so Google's trying to ask me to put in a keyword to get additional optimization score that's actually not really what the client or the business sells. And so I could go for that 100% optimization score, but only at the detriment of adding keywords that aren't necessarily relevant to what's being sold. So the key thing to do with optimization score in Google Ads, in my view, is review the optimization recommendations. See what the recommendations that Google gives are, if they make sense, if they are actually the kind of optimizations that might, or recommendations that might make sense to your business and might help you achieve your goals and might actually improve the performance of your ads. Things such as adding site links where they're missing, or even raising your budget if you've got more budget to spend. Those are all worthy of consideration. And if they make sense, feel free to apply them. Feel free to go and make those changes. What I would also typically suggest is make the changes independently. Don't necessarily just do the lazy apply option. Go and change the settings manually. Go and add the keywords manually. Go and remove the ad copy manually, whatever it is. Because that way you've got more control rather than just letting Google sort of automate the whole process. Or maybe that's the sort of control freak in me saying that. But on the flip side of the coin, where a recommendation is not relevant to your goals, not going to help you achieve what you need to achieve, such as adding display expansion to a search campaign, feel free to ignore it, even if it means you're not going to get a 100% optimization score, because what that's going to do is just serve Google better than it's going to serve you in terms of sort of fulfilling your interests. So yeah, hopefully you find that helpful. If you've got any questions, please do let me know. But long story short, don't feel pressured to chase a 100% optimization score. Review the recommendations because it's a sensible thing to do, but apply only the ones that make sense to your business, to your goals, to what you're trying to achieve. Don't feel pressured into chasing the application of irrelevant or potentially damaging recommendations just to try and get that optimization score up, no matter how much Google tries to gamify it with pretty completion bars and bright red font and so on. So yeah, hopefully you find that video helpful. Please like if you did. Please comment if you need any help. Subscribe for more Google Ads advice, and I'll see you next time.